Once upon a time, Paulie ran frantically through the dark forest of fear and doubt, until one day she slowed down enough to notice the trees were beautiful. The more she noticed the trees, the less she saw the darkness. She discovered she was in an olive grove rather than a forest. This is when she uncovered her magic truth. Paulie's purpose is to shine in every way. Welcome to her manifesting success story.
Hello and welcome to this episode. I am your host, Cassie Parks, and I am back with Paulie Rojas for her 13th interview in the Years of Growth series. Welcome, Paulie.
Hi, Cassie. Lucky number 13, right?
Yes, yes, totally. I love the number 13 ever since I learned it was connected to the Goddess Freya.
Oh, I didn't know that. I'm
Yeah.
gonna look it up.
So, yeah, look up Freya because she's awesome.
Okay, I will.
And powerful. And the story that I heard is that, like, when the switch from paganism to Christianity happened, right? Freya's holiday was Friday the 13th, but it was all good. But she was so powerful and seemed so powerful that Christianity had to turn that around and make it bad.
Wow.
Like Friday the 13th.
Right.
Make it a bad thing because she had so much power and
right.
So
the Church of Christianity didn't want people to go away from them.
Yes.
So they made her look like the villain.
Yes.
Something crazy. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, right?
I love that. After this, I'm going to look up Freya.
Yes.
Yes.
I love it.
That's so cool. It's so funny because there's many countries, but in Mexico City, when I was growing up, there were so many hotels that they don't have 13th floors.
Yes.
Because it just blows my mind that
I know that it's it's the power of that thing, right?
Right.
If somebody tells the story enough and you look for the evidence, it can become so powerful that we build hotels
without right. But there's still a 13th floor.
It's just not numbered that.
Not numbered. Yes.
You can't actually skip 13.
Right, yeah. And now they shouldn't because it's a great number.
Right, yeah. Oh, you're going to love it. And it's, there's so much LOA to that, right?
It's all LOA, yeah.
Yeah. We
it's
get
what they're trying to, yeah.
Yeah, you get what you're looking for, and stories can become so powerful that we change what we do, even though really, like you said, there's still a 13th floor.
Right, there's still, it makes, but I also just love prime numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the word prime.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. So I'll honor 13. I like that this is our 13th interview.
Me too. I love it. All right. So this is going to be extra magical today.
I feel it.
I love it. Well, let's start with, how has your future self been showing up?
So dedicated and so many words. Number one is dedicated and excited and taken care of, and the best thing actually is simple. I have one job right now, and that's all I have to do, and everything else, I'm getting money, I'm getting calls, I'm getting so much is showing up because I know I have one job to do, and that is to train for my dream role.
Yes.
It's amazing I'm sharing that.
I know, because it's evolving.
Yes.
It wasn't too long ago. We're recording this June 1st, 2020, but it was just a couple of months ago where I was listening and writing about how your dream role evolved, right? Where you're the voice of a book.
Yes.
And and that was first step in your dream role, and now even more is opening, right?
Oh my gosh, yes. Everything it blows my mind. Even how I don't know, it's just so crazy that over 10 years ago, I had a friend who wrote a little short film for me. And from that short film, she wrote it for me. I know we've talked about how I wanted to raise $100,000 to do a short film.
Right.
Yeah. And you're this was right when we first started working together too, or a little bit after. Remember, I was I think I need to do this. And you're wait a minute, let's do other work first before we get to that. But my friend wrote this short film for me. This short film was the jumping off point of very important people seeing it, and then the relationship starting, and then now they're writing this play that is my dream. And everything about it, like the location, the people, the part, what I have to do for the part is just, I'm in complete awe. Everything about it couldn't be better. And you could say I'm so lucky. I feel so lucky, but I know it's not luck.
Right.
It's not luck. Lucky number 13. Here we go.
Yes.
But yeah, it's not luck. It's I think it's just that belief that you instill in us so much.
Mm-hmm.
And the whispers that you always tell. I've always had this whisper. And I'm so excited for the podcast when I'm like, this is the part, and this is what I'm doing. And this is, and but it's so exciting that I just had a call with the creator who said, I'm sending you a non-disclosure agreement. I'm like, this is amazing. I legally can't talk about it. I feel it's so legitimate.
Yes.
So celebrating how legitimate it is really, really cool.
There's so many good points in that. Yes. Like celebrating how legitimate. And I love this example that listeners will get from listening to this too, right? Like, so an NDA is a non-disclosure agreement. So you're literally not legally allowed to say. And I think that's actually powerful because you get excited about the process.
Right. Yes.
Versus the thing. Like you're not telling people I'm doing this. You're like, this is happening and this is happening and here's the next step and here's the next step. Right.
Right. Yes.
Which is so different. Like when you started, you wanted instant, like this is what I'm doing, right? Was the big thing. But now you're even in that space where you're enjoying the journey of the preparation.
Yeah. I can't tell you what I'm doing. And that's so cool, because I'm held accountable by that. And it's so much easier not to say anything rather than I love walking around knowing, oh, you guys have no idea what I'm up to right now.
Yes.
And you don't have to, you'll find out,
Right. And I feel like that was one of the very first assignments I gave you was something similar to that was like, go out and walk around as that person.
Yes.
Right. And for listeners, do you remember that?
I do because I was pushing so hard. Like I was overdoing it, like, and looking around to see if people were noticing me,
Yes.
like, can they see I'm a star, And now it's like, it doesn't matter because I know what, like, I live and breathe it every single day. I don't have to push anything.
Yes.
So it's really, I love it. I love it.
I love how far you've come. And I love that we can look back at that example because you were, pushing and then like that's another step into the becoming is like, right? Because so often people want to do their LOA list. Like it would like what would I'm trying to think of like something on your acting of it is if would be like like holding an Oscar and getting like Oscar keychains and stuff like that, right? Like and because that's what people think the beingness is, right? And is like, oh, I have this statue, and which is somewhat true, but
it's just representative of, but it's not the actual work. Like it's not the essence. It's not the beingness. It's just a representation.
Yeah.
What I've learned is the beingness is where I feel alive because I've learned this and I'm still learning it, but no one needs to see it. No one needs to, it's completely irrelevant who knows and what people like, it's the question that we get as actors, like, oh, what are you working on? And you're like, oh, well, I just did a McDonald's commercial. All right. And now it's just so neat to be like, I'm just training and doing ballet and doing all these things because I love to do it. I don't even tell them why, but it's just because it makes me happy. And that I feel like more and more I'm meeting people or hearing things of people that are the same way. That they they paint because they love to paint, not because they want to be in a museum. And I feel that that's where really rich relationships come from.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Because it's about the love and the beingness, which is why you wanted to be an actor in the first place. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh man, I wanted to tell you, I have an actor friend who started a podcast it's called something like Thespians, something very actory.
Yeah.
And he called me. He's like, I would love to have you on my podcast because you're an actor I respect. And to me, I was like, oh, that's amazing. That's very future self, you know? He's like, listen to a couple of the actors I had on the podcast. I listened to one, and the whole thing was like, you know, you got to stay busy. You got to work hard. You got to reach out to at least 5 people a day. You have to do that. Like, you just, you can't slack because then no one's going to know that you're not, and everything about it. I was like, I don't know if I should do the podcast now because I will be how I am with you. Yeah. I would just say, I don't do anything. I don't reach out. I used to do that, you know, but now I just focus on the beingness of, if I were already at the top, if I was already there, I wouldn't be calling anybody. I would be doing the work that I'm doing now. So
yes,
it was just because that would have been my interview. That would have been me, you know. I would have said, don't, you know, talk to 5 people, talk to 10 people a day. I would have, have these spreadsheets, send postcards, all of this. And I'm just so grateful. I don't do that. I'm not that person anymore.
Yes. And I think the important answer for listeners to hear has, have you got more roles or less roles by being the person?
Right. Yes. Right. Maybe, no, absolutely. I've gotten less roles. I've gotten one role, and that's the role of a lifetime. That's the only one that matters, you know, right. Not the one. I'm not the, you know, doing the, you know, my dad always called it like tree number 2, you know, I'm not doing that. Like, you know, don't squint, you know?
Yes.
Oh, and you know, what else is really funny is for some reason I did an episode of Community about 8 years ago. And it's a tiny little part. I have like, I was girl number 1 in that episode. And for some reason, they've been airing it like crazy. So I keep getting people saying, oh, I saw you on Community. And it's just a great practice to be like, yeah, of course you did. You know?
Yes.
You know, it was like, if you blink, you'll miss me. But I love the evidence of, hey, I saw you. And then getting residual checks, even though they're like 27 cents. Sometimes I get $1.
Yes.
But I love the evidence of getting checks in the mail and people saying, hey, I saw you.
Yes. Oh, I love it because that's what happens. And that for me, is huge evidence of, I mean, we already know your big role is coming, but even that bigger recognition, right? Because I always love when I'm watching an old episode of something and I'm like, oh, that's my new favorite actor, right? They just had girl number 1, you know, part in this show.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I take that as huge evidence. I love it. And that you're just like, yeah, that's where I'm at. Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And I used to say, whenever that episode would air, like, oh, don't blink, you'll miss me. Now I'm like, thanks. Right.
I was in Community.
Yeah. I'm so glad you told me. I don't diminish the fact that, like, you know, I think I was supposed to have 2 lines. I think I actually have like 2 words now in the episode, but that doesn't matter.
Right.
I was, you know, I still get told they saw me, which is all the evidence I need.
It is all the evidence. And I want to tie it back. It was either the last episode or the before we had talked about, someone on the call had said, like, you know, it reminds you of Paulie in your pocket. And I put my phone with the next, like, I'm sure Community, that's where it's like airing. Right. Like I'm guessing, right?
Yes,
or on an app, you know, that somebody is watching all the time. And so like just even more evidence like that, like, oh yeah, that's happening and that's happening.
It's all happening. Yes. And something I love to do is I always visualize. It's always really quick, like 2 or 3 seconds of what I want to say on the calls. So it's part of like the work that now I do is, oh, I can't wait to get on the call and say, I have my full splits now, or I can do a triple pirouette. Yes. It's part of that. You just mentioned it on the last call. It's just holding that vision, what I want most, and just being single-minded about just look at that vision. And part of that vision is me coming to the calls and sharing the next thing I have been able to grow into, or, you know, that I've been able to practice.
Oh, I love that. And was that like an inspiration?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, of course. It's just one of those things where I can, well, it's a place to celebrate, obviously. Yes. So I feel like it's so special that I can't just call anyone and say, like, I got a bunch of residual checks, because we're not talking or speaking the same language.
Right.
Because they might feel bad, or they might blah. But here, it's a place to come and celebrate, and then practice being our future selves and celebrate all holding each other up.
Yes.
So even, I mean, a lot of times it's so exciting to say stuff first on the calls and then tell my mom, or then tell my boy, because I know it's the place that will honor it and send out that into the universe even more.
Yes. Oh, I love that. And I love it. The reason I asked if it was inspired is because this is what happens when you do the work, right? Like the work is set, but you develop your own personal things, like, because it's your own intuition, right? And your own whispers that say, like, oh, you should just visualize what you want to be doing, like start whatever it is, right?
It's so funny because I didn't even see it as like a process. It's just something that makes me really, really excited. And that's my word. That's my feeling, is to be, to feel excitement. And it's funny because I never even questioned it.
Yes.
Like, should I do this or should I not? No, it's just something that I can't wait to say on the call.
Yes.
And even with like, whenever I can't think of something now, but if I have a challenging time about something, I can't wait. I think of myself coming on the call and saying, I had this problem and this happened. And now, so it's just, I guess it's now the process. It's just something second nature now.
Yes. I love it. Because you're learning to look past, right? Like we built up that muscle for a little over 2 years of getting past things. Right. And so, and I think it was you in a couple previous episodes, we sort of talked about the process. It might have been Vicky, it might have been the other actor, but like where it's like, okay, you have to come for every single question, right? And then it becomes sort of like a check-in, like, okay, this is what I'm thinking, but I want you to hear. And then now it's like, oh, I have a problem and I can automatically see it's getting solved.
Yes,
like
it always gets solved.
Yes.
Always, yes. And everyone that's been on the calls has had very, very, what I think, like larger than life questions. And then a week or two later, it's not a thing anymore. So I'm constantly seeing people have things solved for them in an LOA way.
Yes.
Which is amazing. And I mean, I use it every single day. So.
Which is so different. And I know we've talked about this, but I think it's always worth mentioning, because the further we get from where we were and closer to where we're going, like we even see it differently. So you say you use it in every way. Like tell us what that means versus what it used to mean.
Okay. So prime example, I had a call with the creator yesterday. And a few weeks ago, I think, 2 or 3 weeks ago, I jumped on a Tuesday night call and I was like, I was panicking. I was frantic because I'd gotten a text.
Yes.
That just really altered me. And you were like, okay, Paulie, read it again as if it's good news. And it was hard. The first time I was like, it was shaky, but then I kept reading it over and over. And then my assignment was to go find evidence that supports it's good news. And then of course, like, a whole can of worms opened up, and it was all good news. And then the same thing happened on Friday. I got a text saying, hey, we need to have a chat. And so it can be scary, or it can be unbelievable. It could be great news. It could just be, it doesn't have to be good or bad. It doesn't have to be either way. So I had my moment of panic, because that's the other thing we do is we feel our feelings. And I panicked and I let out like a tense scream, like, and then I'm like, okay, now let's move on, because everything always works out for my future self. Everything is always good news. Oh, you had also mentioned something that I think about all the time, which is that we create clarity and we create ease.
Yes.
And so our choice is always ours to create ease. And that has been so pivotal the last few months, really, because I think our alligator brain goes into survival mode all the time. And so when I get a text message that could go either way, and it happened on Friday, I said, okay, we're gonna have a call, and it's my choice to know it's gonna be, it can be easy and it can be wonderful, and it doesn't matter what he's gonna say. It's all gonna benefit me. Everyone wins. Yeah. So, and then of course it was just like him saying that the script is done and they're going to send it to me, and I needed it. It was all amazing.
Yes.
Amazing news. And he was even saying how, if quarantine is still happening next year, he's thought of a way to get around it and still be able to have the play. It's like, oh, that's great. He's thinking about all these things. And again, my one job is to just continue to train. So going back, and that's the ease, that's the clarity, everything's always taken care of. And I mean, not to say that moments of panic, of course, will happen, but they're quick. They don't last.
Yes.
So that's really nice.
I love that. And I want to highlight for listeners, right? Like your one job is to prepare for the role. It's not to worry about quarantine or what will happen a year from now or how will this get done, right? Someone else is doing that. Like it's your job to be ready to show up.
To show up and make their lives easier. And myself indispensable, right?
Because you're ready.
I'm ready, exactly. And if they're like, oh, can you dance? Yep. Oh, can you sing? Yes. Oh, can you do this? Yes. What, like, you know, and that's what's part of the role is I've always wanted to sing and I've always wanted to dance and I've always wanted to be able to tell a story in a different language, live abroad. And this is everything. This has everything. And I just remember as a child, like wanting this, like, or knowing that this was going to happen. But isn't that funny how we get whispers all the time? Like this was my whisper as a kid. And I didn't think it was possible, but here now it's like part of that feeling that I have inside of me, even when I panic, is, but this is meant to happen. Like that's always like this is okay. Worry, you're not doing anything by worrying because deep down, you know, this is supposed to be this way.
Yes. So, I love that.
Yeah. And I think that I know that I listen to that knowing more because of the work we've done together.
Absolutely. Well, and I think you honor it differently. Yeah, I'm going to use that word honor because I think you always had that. And like you said, it's from when you were a kid, right? Like I meant to do this, but something before, like in the past, like pre-Enchanted Circle and beginning was I meant for it. So I have to make it happen.
Yeah.
Right. Instead of,
and it's the family thinking that was also part of, you know, it's everything. It's my socialization, you know, the way I used to deal with things. So but now here we are. I don't have to, that's not there anymore. It doesn't have to be there anymore.
Yay. No. It does not. It's to be amazing.
Right.
And easy.
Right. And easy about it. Exactly. Which is the best part because we can all be amazing but can we be amazing and be easy? Yes. But no one, you know, we're told that it's not supposed to be that way, but now we're all changing. We're changing the world, Cassie.
We are. I know
it can be easy.
Yes. It can be easy. You can get everything you want. We talked about this morning.
You can have it all.
You can have it all. Yeah.
Everybody wins. Yeah.
I love it. So we've been talking about this and I want to see if you have any specifics because you're doing Manifest 10K again.
Yeah.
So I would love to hear like how you're learning to go deeper with LOA because we've had several conversations, I feel like, and coaching about that.
Yes. So the biggest thing that we talked about at the very beginning was, oh, but I've already manifested $10,000 in a day. Why do I have to do 1,000? That seems so little now, right?
Yes.
Which is amazing for me to say, you know, I can see my growth even saying that. And the lesson there was to stick to a smaller amount or that amount, and because that goes deeper with that amount. It's not about big, giant, huge things, because when I was doing that, I was skimming the surface to get to the big stuff instead of honoring the small, very specific, smaller details that have a world of richness to learn and glean from. So that was the biggest lesson, is to go not massive, but just really small, really specific. And that has helped me go even deeper in a moment-to-moment way and honoring every penny. I think we also talked about this. It's the power of the penny versus the power of $1 million. It can be the same, but I was losing the power of the penny because I was busy looking for $1 million.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think, going deeper with the love and the excitement of one penny will ultimately be the biggest gain.
Yes. And and it was also which I loved, because there was a question I asked. You had done your Manifest 10K list, and I said, like, would you really do this tomorrow? Right?
Yes.
And the answer was no. And then going to that deeper place of what you are going to do with your list it's that depth of like, because you were doing it because you like, you want to be there, right?
Right.
Yeah,
exactly. And what you were saying is honoring where I am now will honor the person that wants to give away $10,000 and like immediately, but first honor what I, the truth of what I really, really want to do now. If I got it, the check right now. So that was crucial.
Yes. And which all is so interesting, because I think what it boils down to is freedom, and like this piece to go deeper in this role, because it takes everything, like sort of a lot of other thoughts about other things out. It's like, I can just focus on this. Right.
Yeah. And what I've learned is to get to the person that gives away $10,000, I have to be truthful now. Yes. Otherwise, when I do give away 10,000, it won't be as truthful or as pure.
Yes.
As it wouldn't be as pure giving away the 10,000 if I hadn't honored what I am today.
Yes.
So it would have been maybe more forced or manipulative or something.
Yeah.
That I don't want to be.
I love that. Any other like depth that you're seeing or examples of like?
All the time. This last, because we have the calls every day, almost every day, I thought I was going to do one assignment every time.
Yes.
But I've been, there's some assignments that I've just, been on the call and just read it. I haven't moved on. I just kind of sit with that one assignment. And the assignment I'm on now, I know I'm going to be spending a lot more time on it because I found something because of that assignment called effective altruism. And it's a whole world that I'm beginning to learn, but I'm not ready to just go, oh yeah, I'll come back to that. It's more, this is where I am. This is the truth of my moment right now. So I'm going to spend, and it's not like you're saying to us like next assignment, it just feels good to honor that this is where I have to be, and I have to do some digging and go deeper into that assignment. Yeah.
That is like music to my ears, because I get it. And that's the way I do the assignments. Cause I've started doing them, because obviously they didn't exist when I started doing the work. Right. And so I'm like, I'm going to do it because I want that experience and to see it. And that's exactly the way I do it, because, when you get to that place where you're not pushing and it's not how fast can I get through the assignments, you're like, there's deeper here, and this is what I need to become that person. Right.
And it feels so good to just like to breathe something in as opposed to like achieve the next thing, achieve. It's just like, it feels so good to learn about all of this, like this thing that this assignment opened up for me. So it feels really nice.
Oh, that's amazing. Do you want to share a little bit about that in case somebody's like, what is that?
Yes. Oh, yes,
I loved it. I didn't know about it either.
Oh, it was, so the assignment is about, possibly give money, right? It could be $1, it could be $5, or it could be, donate to these organizations like Kiva, the Kiva organization, which does microloans, or the opposite is you don't have to. Like if you've always been told that you have to give, maybe you can honor not having to give, whatever you want.
Yes.
So then, and then he said to also visualize if you had written a check for $10,000, what would that be like? And if it feels good, share in the comment section below. So I wanted to visualize giving away $100,000. I started to, I got, very serious. And I was like, oh, I have no idea what I would, like, I want to give it. But I want it to matter. So then I Googled like what to do or where to give away $100,000, or where does what organization makes your dollar go further or something like that. The first thing that popped up was what I did with my first 100,000. And it's this guy who bought a Tesla because he wanted to see what all the fuss was all about. He had all and I just started, I liked how he said, you can have it all. Like, don't listen to CNN, don't listen to MSNBC. Like you can have a lot of money and you can retire. I think he retired at 30, which is very similar to your story.
Yes,
so I was like, okay, this is someone I can listen to. And then he starts talking about he loves animals, but it's like $40,000 to train a dog to help one blind person. Or for like $30,000, you can save like 5,000 people from blindness. And so it's like, he started to weigh the impact of $1, right? So what would you do? Like train a dog for 40,000 or prevent 5,000 people being blind? And I was like, oh, this is incredible. And so there's a name for this, which I didn't know, called effective altruism. And this is what Bill Gates does and Warren Buffett. And he says, but maybe like, even if you don't make a lot of money, maybe $10, these are the organizations, this is where to go, that shows you that your dollar makes an impact. And so there's an organization that just measures which are the most effective charities. So that's the world I'm diving into right now, is where does the dollar really, really count? And it can be malaria, it could be, there's, whatever you care about. It could be animals, it could be poverty, it could be the environment, but it's like, this is what it does and this is why it's important. So it's just so cool. I'm nerding out on all this.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love it. And it just gives that so impact. And what I love about that is that assignment is partly, it's designed to open up your mind about giving, right, in different ways. And like, it's just like even blowing my own mind. Like you can go here and figure out where you can give a little, but it equates to a lot.
Right.
So you get that feeling of this is the big impact I'm making, but maybe it's only $50 a month if that's what someone can do right now.
Exactly. Yes. So it's just it's so incredible that, I mean, what a world we live in, that these resources are out here, Yes. And it's just, it blows my mind too, but it's so inspiring that there's a whole movement of people that are dedicated to this.
Yes. And I want to tie this back to the conversation, because this is the beingness. This is the LOA, like the beingness. Like your future self needs to have this info.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like she needs to have it, right? Not an assistant doing the work, but her.
Exactly. Me doing the work.
And knowing it and doing the work, which now you won't have to do because you already know it when you're ready to give away 100,000. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it ties into that, like, oh, I want to be the person who gives 10,000 now. But what we can even see now by going through the work is you probably weren't even ready for that.
Yes.
Like you could have done it, right? Like you had a great reason and I think way you were going to give it, right?
Yeah.
But now this is even deeper and better and feels like more sustainable.
Yes, I think so too. Yeah. And it's funny because I think I even wrote it in the comment section that when I found this, I felt like my future self being like, this is where I wanted you to go. This is it. Like you found it. Oh, this is where I've been wanting you to come. Yeah. So it just, and that's what's so cool, is knowing that is a whisper of my future self versus some kind of background noise that I'm not really like. It's just the knowing of what something is that is really, really. It's like it feels so good.
Yes.
No. Yeah.
I love that. It's amazing.
Yeah. So thank you for that assignment. And like I haven't even really started. Man, I think I'm still in like the pre-assignments, which I've been for, but there's no rush because I found effective altruism. There's like all this stuff that I'm finding.
Yes. Yeah. And that's the magic. And I think most people, when they start like you, like I have to do the assignments to get to the thing.
Yes.
And it's like where you're at now is the magical place of like, I don't have to push because it's all happening. And it's all like, if I spend 10 days on this assignment or 5 days, it means like, I'm getting ready. Like the next assignment is like at the best time and I get this benefit and everything is just like all of the pieces are lining up. It's not just about one assignment or getting to an end. It really is about creating more of your future self, and going back and doing Manifest 10K again. It's creating even more of your future self.
Yeah. And something that I love is whenever we ask a question and you coach us and then you say, does that feel complete? I love how you say that because it's part of my vernacular now to myself when I feel like I've been practicing that with the last assignment. So, okay, like I know we'll never get it done, right? But it feels complete now. And we can, so that, thank you for that phrase, because I use it all the time internally. And then even with like friends or my boyfriend, like, hey, does that feel complete to you? The feeling of completion is so, it's a full body thing, right?
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
As opposed to like, I think it is, or I want, I love that term.
Oh, I love it. Thank you for sharing that you use it with the assignments, because that is a brilliant way to use it. And again, just the way that stuff soaks up and you become more, and you follow, like you become your own whisperer, and really this does become your own journey, which is my favorite part. Like I'm learning that past this 2-year mark, I am so excited. Like I've had several of you in the last couple of weeks that I'm interviewing, and I'm like, oh yeah, like this is where like even more fun happens, because you start to take the wheel over, and you're still doing the work and you still follow it, but it's really where you start to, your future self and your inspiration starts to create more of your own path.
Yeah, totally. And it's really awesome that so the first time around, it's like when you go somewhere for the first time, it feels so long, but when you come back, it feels like it was such a shorter ride.
Yes,
it feels like that because I did it the first time. I wasn't really sure where I was going, but now I know where, at least what the feeling is that I'm going towards. And there's there's exponential trust because I already went through it, and belief, and because there's lots of discomfort going through it the first time, and there's still discomfort the second time around, but we've been through discomfort before.
Yes.
And you say it all the time, like you said today, you say at least once a call, but finding that comfort within all of this discomfort is maybe you said that today, maybe it's all because that's how it's working out. Maybe that's how it's supposed to work out, So so it's really fun going really slowly through the second time around.
Yes. I love that. And I wanted to say about the discomfort and the second time around. I lost it. It'll come back, but it's just about, it's about all that. It's just so magical to be in that spot and to like go through it and to go deeper. And you're right to know like, oh, okay, I'm going here. So this, it came back. Because you're in, like, this is quarantine time. You live in New York City. Oh yeah. You are in your apartment. And I can't remember if we talked on the last, interview or not. Like you're training, you found a space to do ballet in your basement.
In my basement.
It's a ballet bar.
Yeah, PVC pipe from Home Depot is like $3. Yep.
Like, and excitement. So you mentioned excitement is your feeling, right? And there's always a way. Like that's what I want to say, or I want you to share the experience of, is it would be easy for people to be like, I can't get excited when I can't go outside, or I can't leave. I can't go do X, Y, Z. And so will you just talk a little bit about how you've opened up to being excited in quarantine?
Oh, yeah. Well, I feel it helps that I feel like I'm very introverted. So I love being home. I love I love not having to go anywhere. Although I do love to go places. But when this started happening, I thought, oh, wow, okay, so I have to stay home. There's so many things I want to do at home. And because of the times we live in, everything is accessible. Information is everywhere. YouTube, Google, like, I think are the greatest inventions. I just saw it that it was in a way, the universe saying, you have your one job. I'm going to make it so easy for you. You're welcome. You have to stay home and do this. And then, because I live with my boyfriend and we do have our limited space, I wanted to find a place, I was like, shoot, okay, well, I'll just do it in my bedroom. And then that wasn't working. I went downstairs to the basement, and there's this beautiful, it's like, I mean, it's not beautiful, but it is to me now because it's my space.
Yeah, I think it's beautiful when you show up on a call there. I'm like, it's so beautiful.
It's
and
my
so fun.
Space. Yes. And I love to, I tidied it up. I swept. There were cockroaches like dead everywhere. Like I even in the making the space my own, there was so much joy. of cleaning things out and restoring something that is now so beautiful to me, and it's my space, and it's like there was like old wooden floors that I got to put down, and now they're my floors, they're my ballet floors, and and my boyfriend has his space up here, and I still get service down. That's what I was worried about, was like, will I have internet down there? And I do. So it's just, I mean, and it's because I trust it. You're talking about quarantine and having to stay home, but there's always a way. There's always, and of course, like we just said, it can always be easy. Like I could have been like, there's so many cockroaches and gross, but I'm like, no, I get to make something shiny again.
Yes.
And that's what we do in the Enchanted Circle. We add magic to things. So
we do. Yes.
The basement is all magic now. Yeah.
Oh, for sure. And the perfect space. And I think that cleaning and the honoring of like, this is what I need is like so part of what adds to that magic.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And, I just think that having like, I don't know, I'm sure there's a saying, but having put in that kind of effort and work into cleaning something up helps me feel like I've earned it even more.
Yes.
Like it's mine. I made it my own, and no one can take that away. Even if they're like, oh, basement's closed, I still can, for me, I was still able to have my basement be my little space.
Yes. I love it. And it's so magic. I mean, it's even more magic because it's in Brooklyn. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not just like, oh, I went and I found this space. It's like in the middle of Brooklyn, you have a dance studio to practice in.
Exactly. I have my studio. I love it. And it's, I feel like I should pay double the rent, but I don't have to because no one uses it. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's amazing. I love it. Well, I would love, you had shared, because you do, so I send out complimentary coaching at the end of every email because that's how we get started. And I am passionate about letting people know that it's like those little things. It's doing one little thing that's as much as doing like 100 things in a day. Yeah. And so even I was super happy when you shared on a call a couple weeks ago. You're like, I did the coaching, which I had no idea. Like, I don't know who does it and who doesn't. Right. And you were like, I did it and something really cool happened.
Something crazy happened. Yes. So I do every coaching that you do. I remember one was like, wake up in the morning and just be really, and every single morning I go, like today's the best time of my life. I without fail, and this one was about, I think it was like, instead of having your to-do LOA list, right? That you have to do, just don't do any of it, or just do one, just diminish, right? Do less.
Yes.
And so I did. I was like, all right, I don't have to, I put an intention out that I wanted to possibly get a public speaking client, for a year so that I can get this amount of money for a year. And then I was inspired to fill out the SBA loan. And then there was a bunch of back and forth. I was like, this would be so great. It's okay if I don't have it, but how amazing would it be? Always with that attitude, right? It would be awesome, but I don't need it. And I got so fortunate with my bank manager, whoever was doing my case, because he really, I could tell he really wanted to help me, but there was like some wishy-washy things.
Yes.
I wake up to the loan, like it was the amount of money that I wanted for a year, but I would get it in 2 months.
Yes.
And so it blew my mind, because I also realized how I didn't want to work for a year to make that money and be, committed to one person for that amount of money. But instead, the universe said, here's the amount that you wanted, and chances are you won't have to pay it. There's a loan forgiveness thing, which I have to figure out. But again, that's another thing that everyone's panicking about it. And I'm like, all right, if I have to pay, I'll pay it. But universe, I would love for you to figure this out for me. And then I feel like I'll be okay no matter what. Absolutely. But yeah, I did what you said. I didn't, I think I would have visualized it scripted. I would have maybe brought it to the call. Like, hey, what do I do? Yeah. What do I do? A lot of journaling. And this, I wrote down, I think I'd love for this money to come through. And then it did.
Yay.
And of course I did. I actually also I did that thing where I saw myself coming to the call saying I got the money. And I did do that. So I was like, yeah. Less is more.
Yes, it so is. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, fabulous. Well, this has been amazing. Thank you so much for sharing this moment in your journey.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for sharing what you do with me.
Absolutely. Is there anything else on your heart or you just want to share today? Or
I'm so grateful for this space that we have, because there's no place like it, really,
right?
to be able to have this. Yeah. Anywhere in the world.
Yes, I agree. It's magic.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it
is. I love it. Well, tell people where they can follow your amazing journey on Instagram if they want to see what you're up to.
So you can follow me on my name, Paulie, Paulie _Golightly. And it's a play on words with Holly Golightly from Breakfast at Tiffany's. So Paulie _Golightly.
I love it. Do you happen to remember the episode number of Community that it is?
No, but I know that it's called The Aerodynamics of Space, because that's what my check says.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, the episode is called The Aerodynamics of Space, and I have bright green pants on.
Okay, awesome, because I know people are going to look at that, and you're going to see there's a bump when this comes out in residual checks. I love it.
Oh, I know. Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's crucial. Oh, actually, this will help people. It's the one with Hillary Duff. It's Hillary Duff's episode. Yeah.
Awesome. Yay. That's cool.
Yeah, I know. It is funny. It's funny because my boyfriend, he used to work on the show that she had younger.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I'm more in love with him right now.
I know, me too. Yeah. And he was like, and so he got, when the show was wrapped or something, they gave him 2 blankets that belonged to Hillary Duff. So we call them our Hillary Duff blankets.
Oh, that's
full circle.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, it is full circle. And what's so cool about that is I was about to be like, oh, that's evidence, because she has an amazing show that I think is empowering to women. And
absolutely. Yeah. And that my boyfriend was saying that she's such a nice person, which I always love to hear. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. It's one of my favorite shows. So
I
feel like extra giddy today, and I'm about to get on the phone with Jenny, and it's like the show we watched together. So
no way.
That's even cooler. Yeah.
Oh yeah. She gave my boyfriend a kiss when they were saying goodbye to each other. So she's very sweet. No, on the cheek. Yeah.
Of course. Of course.
Yeah.
I just assumed.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Good. Just be clear,
Oh, I love it. Yeah. Oh, thank you so much for sharing your journey and your world and this amazing moment. And I'm so excited to see
Thank you for being with me.
Yes. Oh, I love it. Thank you all for joining us. Make sure to come back and check out what else is awesome in Paulie's life next time. The telling of stories is so powerful, both to the person telling it and the person receiving it. Since 30,000 BC, we as humans have told stories to teach and guide. And now we, with Manifesting Success Stories, hope to inspire you to what is possible in your own life. If you want more manifesting success, go to moremanifestingsuccess.com, where you'll find links to anything we've talked about on the show. Thank you for joining us today, and remember, you have the power to write your own happy ever after.